Hey everybody, welcome to the Airsoftology question and answer show, the Q&A show here. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and this is your show. Your questions go in the comment section from last week, and I answer them the best as possible. This one, I have a bunch of great questions from you guys and gals out there, from everything airsoft topic related to some of my experiences to also some technical questions that you may have as well. And at the end of every video, I always do a video recommendation of the week, which comes from you as well. Another YouTube channel that you may enjoy that's airsoft related. So real quick before we get in, we'll let you know I do have a web store if you guys want to support the channel and get something in return. I got like morale patches and stuff like these, and I got a lot of dogs. I do like the tactical dogs, all original artwork and some funny ones and sayings and stuff. Anyway, if you want to check it out, I have a link in the corner over here. You can click and go check it out. Free shipping worldwide. So no matter where you live, you'll be able to get them pretty much no charge. It's the same price that you pay on the site, no matter if it's going to ship local or around the world. Also, don't forget, I was going to be going to IWA this year, which is in Germany. Real quick update, and that got canceled. Then I was going to be heading to the States for an event, and that got postponed. So I'm kind of landlocked here in Taiwan right now for a while, but that's cool. I've got a lot of reviews. If you guys haven't subbed, definitely give that sub button a mash right now. Give me a thumbs up on this video too if you like it too, because I'm doing a bunch of unboxings. I've got some new stuff that's not even out yet, and I'll be unboxing that for you on the channel. So if you want some of the newest, freshest in the airsoft world, definitely hit that sub button because you don't want to miss out on the unboxings that no one else will have. Anyway, enough about all that. Let's dive on into the meat of this video and what you're really here for, and that's your questions in the Megastore mail call. Ring Gaming writes, hey John, I was wondering what's the most extreme thing you've personally been involved in an airsoft game? Or maybe you've seen some really cool things. For example, maybe flying in a helicopter, games involving swimming, tanks, or such. So no tanks, well not legit tanks, like people have built airsoft vehicles. I think I've done some really cool stuff, especially a handful of years ago. Operation Broken Home. I've flown in helicopters and shot from them. That is a really interesting experience because you don't lead your target, you actually trail your target because the BBs, if you have forward momentum, it's just different. It took me a second to kind of adapt. If you're flying parallel or perpendicular to your enemies, you have to adjust for the motion of the helicopter because of the travel time of the BB, because it takes so long. And no, believe it or not, the rotor wash or the actual down force of the does not affect the BB at all. It just straight out, it goes. I know because the way it works, but it just, your mind wants to think that it would push the BB down, but it doesn't. Super cool experience. If you get a chance, you should absolutely do that. Swimming, no. I've marched through swamps. If you guys have been to Balhack Airsoft in Virginia, an amazing field. Chris is a super awesome field owner. He's the heart and soul of that place, and all the players there are fantastic. That's a swampy experience. You'll get pretty muddy and mucky, but it's a lot of fun. Let's see, what else? Oh, here's one, as I bought my mic here off camera. Night driving with night vision, like on like a quad, like a Razor, the actual Razors, the off-road vehicles. Did some night driving years and years ago, and that was a ton of fun to learn how to drive with night vision because you're running a monocular. The depth of field, it just isn't there because you're just looking through a single tube. These aren't dual tubes. So it took some practice, nice and slow and easy, not going super fast, super crazy. But once you adjusted, it was a pretty cool experience to drive lights off, night vision in the night. As for things I've seen, probably the craziest thing I've seen in an event is someone actually climbed to the very top of a tree, probably 30 feet tall, so like 10 meters, give or take, and was sniping out of it. And this was years and years and years ago at Bad Karma Airsoft. And that's another thing, Bad Karma is going away. This is the last noob day. I'm kind of sad about that. That's where I started, in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, actually, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Mike and the crew, Mike owns it, and he's selling it off. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I've seen a lot of really cool stuff. Definitely worth going and trying and doing some of these things. If you're going to do something, I would definitely check off that helicopter list. That's worth any extra investment you can get. If you get the chance to do it, definitely probably one of the most memorable experiences I've had in Airsoft of all time. TK writes, I'm trying to figure out what do I need to do or what parts do I need for my gun to be mil-spec performance. I run low caps, I'm talking 30 round mags, 4x ACOG, love my playstyle. I run 9 mags. Yes, I know I could run higher capacity mags, but that's not what I want to do anyway. What parts upgrades do you recommend? So yeah, this is kind of like challenge mode. When you're running like the real caps, like when there's, if you guys don't know, there's high caps, which are, you know, like you dump the BBs in, typically 300-ish. We're talking about M4s here, 300 plus rounds. Like an MP5, it's 200 something. You know, it varies on the gun. AK, it's going to be more. But on it, we're talking about M4 platform here. So you're talking 300 rounds for high cap. Mid caps are mid 100s now. In fact, there's some now like the predecessor to this, or the successor to that, not the predecessor to that, the EPM1 is like over 200 now. It's kind of crazy for a mid cap, which you have to speed load into. Then there are real caps, or some people call them low caps, either one. Low caps are typically like 50, 60 rounds. And then real caps are the same round count as a real counterpart rifle. So if you're looking at M4, it'd be 30 rounds. It's real cap. It's the same as a real one. So yeah, that is definitely challenge mode. That's making you have to really think about your shots and play a very different style of airsoft, because you can't just mag dump. You can't just keep pulling that trigger, and you do have range issues. So let me go back to my past, because, and it depends on your rules too. This could be a challenge for you and your field. I used to play very high limit games, and I used to play, back in the day, we were building guns that when you wanted to go really high power, it was an extremely low rate of fire. So for a mil-spec gun, if you want to call it that, mil-spec's probably not the right term, but if you want to build something that will let you have that realism, I would say let's try the word real sim, like a real simulation. So the MilSim, real sim, let's go with that. I would look at something that would mimic the rate of fire in full auto. So you want a handicap. If you're going to do it right, you need to do it right. You can use an electronic trigger to do a delay and set that rate of fire. Some of the smarter ones, like the Titans and things like that, some of them do have that capacity to do that, to actually set your rate of fire. I think that's going to give you an extra bit of realism. So when you do have to go and like, oh man, I'm in a bad last stand moment, I'm going to flip to full auto, you're not dumping 25 rounds a second. You're about down at like 12 or 13. I don't know, I forget, but it's going to be a lot lower than 25. I promise you that. Look at potentially an electronic trigger that could also do pre-cocking, meaning you pull the trigger, the piston's already in that back position ready to go. When you pull the trigger, it like moves the gear set just a little bit to release the piston, then resets the piston to the back position. By doing that, you're going to get a better trigger response. You're going to get that, like on a real AR or real firearm, right at that break, it just fires, right? It just goes. There's no slight delay. I think it's going to give you an advantage for just a split-second response. Maybe get those quicker shots, because every shot is going to count for you. So those are things I would do. I think really a lot of it's going to be moving around an electronic trigger system. So yeah, that's my advice. I think aside from that, you've got everything else down kind of pretty good. You know, you're going challenge mode here, and I love it. I mean, to challenge yourself, to change up the play style, to keep it interesting. I think it's great. I love how everybody has different ways of playing, from what you do all the way up to the Speedsoft crowd with, like, you know, pistols with box mags hanging off of it. I think everybody's doing it great because they're doing it their own way. As long as we all play fair, don't overshoot each other, and just have a good time out there. Matthew Betty writes, hey, been asking this for a while, but I'll keep on going until I get an answer. What gun is a bolt-action sniper's worst nightmare or best matchup? So you want something to compete against snipers, and I think there's a lot of them out there now. I think a lot of people are in the craze. We see people like, you know, I mean, God, NOVRITSCH is obviously the king of snipers on YouTube. But there's people like House Gamers, Dayton is doing a lot of sniping. There's a lot of fantastic players out there that are doing silo. I mean, tons that are doing amazing sniper gameplay. I could probably go on for 5 minutes of people that are doing good airsoft sniping gameplay. The best way to combat against that is they have a disadvantage. They're single shot, and they have to cock that bolt back, and then they have to sight in again. They also have a disadvantage of typically minimum engagement distance, meaning they have to engage you, or they can't shoot you within a certain range. So if you get within 30 meters, let's say 100 feet, then they can't use their primary rifle. They have to switch to something else. So that can slow them down. It can disrupt them. So there's a couple ways to do it. I think if you charge directly at a sniper, you're going to get picked off. So I think your best counter to a sniper is something that could compete with their role. So I would probably look at the designated marksman role. And that was going to give you probably one of the better advantages to compete against them, because you're going to get some of their advantages, not quite all, but some, and then some additional bonuses. And you're going to have some of their disadvantages, but not to that same level. A sniper typically has that 30-meter minimum engagement. They actually have a higher FPS power, so it gives them effective range, more effective range. And they have a very, very low rate of fire. So they're having to fire, cock, and that usually means taking your eye off. And it just so, unless you're really experienced, it's going to slow down. I mean, obviously you're looking at, around a second, probably, and that's at the best. Probably around every 2 or 3 seconds is realistic, because you have to line up the shot and adjust for wind and all those things, and limited ammo capacity. As a designated marksman role, if your field allows it, you have, and I'll give you another option to the DMR role too, typically a higher power level than someone running an assaulter role, meaning running a standard carbine or something like that. You'll have, and then more effective range. In turn, you have a minimum engagement as well, but it's not going to be that 30 meters or 100 feet. It might be 15 meters or 15 or 50 feet. That's going to be the difference, right? So now you can move in closer, get that advantage, get within their gap. Also, you're going to be able to shoot semi-automatic. So you're going to be able to get more rounds downrange in a quicker way. If you build a good gun with like a really nice setup and a good electronic trigger and all that, you can really get a lot of shots off. So you have the advantage of a rate of fire. Even though it's semi-automatic, which they will lock you to as a designated marksman, you will not be able to go full auto. You're going to have that advantage. So you're going to be able to get multiple shots off, miss a couple. Maybe you're not sure where the sniper is. They're in a ghillie suit. They're in the bushes. You can still throw some rounds over there and have that range advantage because of the higher power level over a player next to you that's running a carbine and in the assaulter role, right? That's going to give you that advantage. On the flip side, if you don't mind carrying something heavy, a support gunner role could give you a lot of those same things, except now you've got full auto. Now you do have that minimum engagement, typically another 50 feet. You have higher power levels, sometimes even close to a designated marksman role. So you have that more effective range, and then you get the box mag. And you got full auto. So you can just hose an area down, right? Accuracy by volume, and at least suppress the sniper. If you know you're getting shot from a certain direction, just let the trees have it, right? It's gonna maybe get them, or at least suppress them, make them have to relocate, make them have to move, disrupt their firing, make them like, oh gosh, they're onto me, they know where I'm at, I need to pull back and reposition myself. So I think that's a good counter. I think there's 2 good ways to counter a sniper. And of course, obviously you could counter sniper being another one, but I think it's a little obvious. And I think that's, you're gonna have to hunt, and it's kind of that back and forth thing. Like, was it Enemy at the Gates? Wasn't that the movie? It's actually a great movie. Check that one out. But I would think that is really the 2 other roles on the field that are very good counters to the sniper, because you can close that gap. You can have some additional range. You can have a higher rate of fire, and support gunner role, you can have an incredible rate of being full auto, right? So there's a lot of good things you can do to counter that sniper role out there. And I think more people that play those non-traditional roles, you'll see that balance for all the snipers we see playing that with their sniper rifles on the field. And let me know if you end up going that route. And thanks for the persistence in the question, by the way. I really appreciate it. And finally, I was finally glad, if I can use my words today, was able to answer you. All right, that's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. And boy, you guys and gals must have done a campaign, because there's a lot of you out there. Let me give some shout outs here. I got to look at my screen over here off here. So Headhunter Sniper Irish, as well as Naim Ryan, as well as Calvin O'Sullivan and Iota all gave a shout out to Fox Green. And there's actually another campaign. There's like 2 campaigns going for 2 different ones. I'm going to get the next one next week. So you guys know who you are. You know who you asked for as well. 2 fantastic ones. I just picked this one because like the comments were like closer to the top, but there was still just as many people recommending. Fox Green, went to go check out the channel. Again, another one. I love you guys and gals, how you do this. Fantastic channel, focuses on sniping. And you did not disappoint. You said, oh, the editing's good. I'd be like, no joke, it's good. Like right now, a little over 6,000 subscribers. I'm just like, what? Well, one extra one because of me now. And you should definitely go check out this channel. I'm showing like the highlighted video he has on his main channel when you land there. But he's got a ton of good videos, including like some product reviews, comparisons, a little bit of technical stuff, all around a very well-rounded airsoft channel by all stretches of the imagination and all means. and definitely one that really earned my actual subscribe mash on that. And if you guys and gals like it, definitely want to go over there, please. The link is below or up in the corner. It would have popped up already. Definitely give it a click. Head over there. Hit the sub button if you like what you see. And if you do, whatever the video you land on, if it's the one I have linked or if you check out some other ones, put a comment under it and let them know I sent you over there. Also, don't forget, put your questions down below for next week. Anything goes. I'll be happy to answer whatever I possibly can. Even some stuff you want to ask, like personal life, things I do. I'm kind of open for a lot of things, but mainly airsoft focus, obviously. And until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.